Graber, the Graber that delivers.
Ready, Tom?
You're like, yeah, I didn't even know. I didn't know.
Is it time?
Yeah, it's time.
Okay.
I don't know.
Good evening. Welcome to the August 6, 2024 council meeting. It is about 7:01. I'm calling this meeting to order. Thank you all for joining us. We're going to start off with our invocation and our pledge allegiance to the flag, which will be led by our city attorney, Tom Trask. Please rise.
Our Heavenly Father, we pray this evening for the members of our armed forces serving abroad. We ask for their safety and that they are returned to their homes and loved ones as soon as their duties permit. Give comfort to their families and friends in their absence and help us remember the sacrifices that they are making. This we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you again, Tom, for that. I'd like to start the open forum, but I have a quick announcement. If you would like a member of city staff to follow up on a comment or a question made at the meeting, you can fill out a comment card with your contact information and give it to the city clerk. Comment cards are available at the back table in the council chambers. They're right on that table there. Comment cards are not mandatory, but we'd ask you to fill one out if you have any questions. With that, we're going to open the open forum. Each speaker will be recognized once and will be limited to a 5-minute comment on any subject that is not scheduled for a public hearing. The open forum will conclude at 7:30. If you wish to speak, please state your name and your address for the record. Is there anybody on this side of the room that would like to speak to the council? Come on up.
I know, it's something.
Yeah.
I don't know, there's something in the next room we're hearing.
Oh.
He's going to check it out. He's going to check it out.
Well, hello, council. My name is Pam Settle. I'm at 439 Lakeview Drive. And I'm here tonight, I really just kind of want to talk in general about the CRA. Been in some conversations and have heard some just really glowing reports of things that are going on in Newport Richey regarding their CRA. That their city manager is going great guns, and their mayor, and they have expanded their CRA, and they're working with developers to turn that city around, and they're doing just a really phenomenal job. And I want to call attention to this document that has the vision and goals for our CRA, and remind everyone that citizens put this together. And there was really nothing from this list that showed up in those proposals that we saw for those apartments. And so there's some, comments that are flurrying around in the community, and I think it might just be better if everybody comes clean and talks about their goals, their intentions for our CRA, since you all are the board members for the CRA. So I'm requesting tonight during council minutes, if each of you, including the city manager, will answer this question: what is your intention with our Oldsmar CRA? Do you personally want to let that CRA sunset next year and go away so that you can just sell the property without it being part of the CRA? Would you like to renew the CRA and actually work towards this vision that was spelled out by the citizens? Or, like Newport Richey, that's being very creative and very businesslike, and expand our CRA. Go beyond the boundaries that we have. Look at how we could make a larger vision for the city and actually do something that matters, that's lasting and buildable, instead of copping out and dumping the property for apartments. So I'd like each of you to answer that. I think the citizens, the voters, deserve to know where you personally stand on our CRA for the future. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else on this side of the room like to speak to the council? All right, come on up.
David Llewellyn, 212 Bengal Circle. On the light side, you should know that the Trump DC Hotel in Washington, D.C., the rights were sold for $375 million to a company down here in Florida who promptly, yesterday, defaulted on that $375 million loan. So the Trumps are up 375, developer 0. Now, Oldsmar has not been as fortunate as the Trumps. And it makes me wonder if Oldsmar should get out of the development business. The BMX track, I think we're at the end of, I don't know, $3 million of taxpayers' expenditures due to errors by I don't know who. We have a library project that could have been sold for $4.8 million. And now the question is, will the city even net $2 million by the time all of the other improvements and whatever are paid for? And tonight, maybe we find out what and who is going to build what. Because frankly, I don't know. And I wanted to move in there. And finally, State Street. We have two developers who I spoke to at the open house. And they both said, when I asked them casually about their proposals, that this submission, which they were not allowed to revise, was a submission based upon their thinking of what the city wanted versus the city sent a very detailed RFP. Doesn't make any sense, but that's what they said. The solutions, I can't even go into. 1950s parking lot is ridiculous. Can we, this is just a question, and I haven't spoken with the other lady about this. Can we just sell State Street, recover the money, and get out of the development business and stop the taxpayers from funding all of these studies and engineering feasibilities and designs and everything else? You know, it's funny, 2 years ago, Jerry was up here and said, I don't know what you need all these studies for. You know what they want. I think he was right. We've wasted a fortune. We've wasted about 4 years, and all we have to show for it is some poorly maintained grass. Thank you.
Is there anybody else on this side of the room that'd like to speak to the council? All right, we're going to go over to this side of the room. Anybody? Come on up, please.
I need some eye candy. That's my husband, 49 years. Tony and Craig Gross, 711 Sandleaf Avenue, Oldsmar. Wait a minute.
You stand there and look pretty. Smile.
Mayor Dan, council members, city managers, clerks, and attorney. On behalf of Gold Star Awareness and the American Gold Star Mothers Department of Florida and Puerto Rico, this is the perfect time to thank you and my community, a Purple Heart community, for remembering and honoring local fallen heroes, United States service members, and supporting the families, such as ours, they left behind. Mayor Dan, recently, you spoke at the American Gold Star Mothers Department Convention held June the 1st at the Hampton Inn across the way there. You welcomed the mothers of fallen service members who were here from other parts of the state, as well as local moms, too. Thank you for making the time, you and Paula, to do so.
You're welcome.
Here is a newspaper article, and most of you probably already seen this, that we are covering that event by Jeff Rosenfield, beloved Oldsmar reporter. So my gratitude is to our gratitude is to each of you, especially Katie, who's dressed in purple, who expresses her respect and honor for the fallen, often with tears. Thank you for embracing us Gold Star families and including and loving on and honoring and respecting and remembering our fallen. Thank you.
Anybody else on this side of the room would like to speak to the council? Come on up.
Good evening. Sue Yanis Cologne, 402 Arlington Avenue East in our wonderful town of Oldsmar. Good evening, Mayor, City Manager, Tom Trask, council members, staff, community. I am here, let's see, which shirt am I wearing this week? I am here to remind everybody that we have a wonderful dance recital coming up. Ms. Suda's Dancers Recital is on August 17th, 2024, and I brought a little flyer that I'll drop off to each one of you when I finish up so you won't forget the date. At 5 p.m. at Ari Olds Park, this is our summer dance mix, where over 20 students will be performing what they've been working on all summer long. And as a special note, we have, as we are always with Oldsmar Friends of the Arts, we are always doing everything we can to raise money for our performing arts of Oldsmar, and we have our official bake sale being held at our Miss Suda's Dancers Recital. So at Ari Olds Park at 4:30, the bake sale will open. We have over 30 families bringing wonderful bake sale items that will be available for purchase to help us raise money for our Oldsmar Performing Arts students and its programs, and continuing to support. We are continuing to look for sponsors, supporters, so please, everyone, help us pass the word. Oldsmar Friends of the Arts, or OFOTA.org. You can also find more information at opaltheater.com or Miss Suda's Dancers on Facebook. And I'd like to take a minute to give you all a reminder flyer. Thank you.
Thank you, Suda.
Out and support our kids.
Thanks, Sue.
Thank you, Suda.
And there's going to be lots of great treats. Let's do it that way. I know how to.
Thank you, Susan. Thank you for coming out.
Uh-huh.
I got two.
Oh, you got two? Pass one. Here we go. We'll go here.
Thank you.
Go here. Anybody else would like to do a reminder? Thank you very much, everybody. Have a great evening.
Thank you. Anybody else on this side of the room? Come on up. Welcome.
I want to say thank you for.
Your name and address, please.
Yes, my name is Reynaldo Castellano Valdez. I live in Pan Harbor.
I need your address,
It's
please.
an honor and pleasure. My commander for the Purple Heart, Mr. Mo, come here.
We'll wait till they call us up and I'll come.
Oh, okay, yes, sir. Sit down.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for, all right. He's excited. It's okay.
Great thing to be excited about.
Anybody else on this side of the room? Jerry, come on up.
Jerry Beaverland, 512 Pine Avenue South. I am proud to say this, that I was mayor when it was right to the Purple Heart. Yeah. The second city in Asia. And bless you for 49 years. Bless bless you for putting up for him for 49 years. You're great people. And we're the second city in Florida to go to Purple Heart. Dunedin beat us, and that's blessed Dunedin. There's something on the agenda tonight about the land next to the library. Do you all know that half of that land was owned by an individual that said he would never sell it to the city of Oldsmar? One of the council members went out there, he was on his land, and went out there and told him, what you doing on this land? You don't belong here. And this fellow that owned the land said, I'm gonna tell you something, friend. You got about 5 seconds to get off this land. I own it. Okay. Then the city engineer upset this fellow to a point that he said, I will never sell this land to the city of Oldsmar. And when Todd said that, Todd meant it. Okay. I went to Todd and I said, sell it to the city. I wouldn't sell this thing to this damn city for no amount of money. And he didn't need the money because he's got millions. I'm going to give you all the history of that land. You can read it at your leisure when I bring it into the city clerk, and then he'll give it to you. And you'll know how we got the biggest part of that land when he said he never would sell it to the city. All right, other than that, 29 years on city council and almost 12 years as mayor. As you all know, you all have an expense account, which is fine. I'm one of the people that voted for that expense account. In 29 years, I've spent less than $3,000, that expense account. Adds up to what, $50 a year or $70 a year or something like that. I never used the expense account. Now, why am I bringing this up? I'm going to talk about something tonight because you're all going to let me talk about it when it comes up the city for y'all on the agenda, because you won't let me talk at that time. And I don't understand why you won't let me talk at that time. I think you need to change that policy. It was not a policy when I was mayor. Anyway, I like a breakdown of when the library is going to get our historical society. I see you're going to rent tell me if I'm wrong, you're going to rent that particular room to the Chamber of Commerce? You're not? Who are you going to rent it to?
Do you want to talk, or do you want to? Jerry, just keep going, and then you can fill out that card and give it to Felicia, and she'll get back to you. She will explain to what they're doing with it.
I'd rather ask the council, have the council tell me what. Anyway, why I'm bringing it up in the expense account, I always paid for everything myself. I wanted, you know those huge pictures that's in the hallway? You know, I bought some of them. I want those 4 or 5. I use part of my expense account to buy part of that. They go to the library, right? You're the ones going to control this. Okay, I'll ask the mayor. They're going to the library, right? With the historical society.
Jerry, I don't know.
Then I'll take them back. And you have a large photo in your lobby. It's going to go to the Historical Society in the library. If it's not, then I'll take it back. Then there's a large picture. I don't even hear you. There's a large picture in the that other office, in your office in that room. That goes there too, along with the Historical Society. Anyway, I got my say through.
Thank you, Jerry. We'll get back to you.
All right.
Anybody else in this side of the room would like to speak to the council? All right, we are going to close the open forum. Next item on our agenda is the community minute, which will be read by our city clerk, Kristen Garcia.
Thank you, Mayor. The deadline to apply for the Oldsmar 2024 Citizens Academy class is Friday, August 9th. Applications are open to adult residents and non-residents of Oldsmar. This is an excellent preparatory introduction towards service on a city board or committee. Classes will run Thursday nights, September 5th through November 7th, except for October 31st from 6 to 8:15. You can apply online at myoldsmar.com, or you can call the city clerk's office. City Council special meeting will be held Saturday, August 17th at 9 a.m. Oldsmar City Council will meet to review and consider proposals from the RFP for the Town Center City Hall site and the council chamber for a special meeting that will include public open forum, formal presentations by applicants, interviews of applicants, scoring of proposals. Pledge to Evacuate. This is a new initiative to encourage residents to take proactive steps by committing to a well-prepared evacuation plan that includes your residents, property, and family members. Please visit oldsmarstrong.com for more information. And that's all I have.
Thank you very much. Next item on our agenda is approval of additional new agenda items, which are 3, 4, 7, 8, and 9. I'm looking for a motion for approval.
So moved.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any other discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Awards and recognition. Item number 1 is presentation of the Cigna 2023 Civil Level Healthy Workforce Designation Award, and that's going to be handled by our city manager, Felicia Donnelly.
Good afternoon. The Cigna Healthy Workforce Designation recognizes that a commitment to employee well-being and vitality can impact everything from employee health and satisfaction to company productivity and business performance. Higher vitality is linked to a more motivated, connected, and productive workforce, said Carrie Knight Stevens, Executive Vice President and Chief Human Resources Officer of the Cigna Group. Employers that foster vitality will fuel a healthier workplace and drive business and economic growth. That's why we're proud to recognize employers for their efforts to prioritize multiple dimensions of wellness, build a culture of health, and boost employee engagement. I would invite Michelle Kutch, Roy, Human Resources Director, up to the lectern.
Good evening. Michelle Roy, formerly Kutch, Human Resources Director here at the City of Oldsmar. And I just want to talk a little bit about this. So we are so excited that Cigna Healthcare has selected the City of Oldsmar as a recipient of the 2023 Silver Level Healthy Workforce Designation. This honor is awarded for demonstrating a strong commitment to improving the overall health of our team members. Our commitment to well-being extends beyond physical health and screenings and encompasses mental health, emotional, and financial wellness. We aim to create a harmonious and inclusive work environment that fosters growth, creativity, and collaboration. We are dedicated to keeping the health insurance premiums affordable. Providing a health reimbursement account to our employees also provides financial support to access health care for themselves and their families. We offer a flexible hybrid work schedule to assist with work-life balance and a generous holiday and PTO program, bereavement leave, a retirement plan, and tuition reimbursement. These benefits are part of our efforts to foster a workplace where every team member is empowered to lead a balanced and fulfilling life, both personally and professionally. To put this achievement into context, all Cigna clients, both public and private, with headquarters based in the United States were eligible for consideration. Cigna evaluated the program offerings and other components and awarded those organizations achieving a standard of excellence with a bronze, silver, or gold designation. In the state of Florida, Cigna has 210 government clients, of which only 21 received some level of award. The City of Oldsmar was one of 7 public sector recipients in the state of Florida to receive the silver level designation. In addition to this trophy, up on the screen you'll see, we've been provided with a digital designation badge, which we prominently and proudly display on the hiring page of the City of Oldsmar's website. And so I just wanted to thank personally our Wellness Committee for their support and encouragement to have our employees participate in the programs, Felicia for her support in all of the other aspects, the health insurance and things like that, and our finance department for making it work. And, as a whole, it takes a team to get this type of award, so I just want to say thank you.
Yep.
Mayor, if I might, as we're making our way back to our seats, make a motion to suspend the rules?
Would you want to?
Yes, I'd like to make a motion to suspend the rules.
Okay.
Thank you. I was hoping that we might take item number 11, the proclamation for Purple Heart Day, out of order before the consent docket and the CRA items,
Absolutely.
considering the folks that we have in attendance tonight.
Okay.
So I'd make a motion to take item 11 out of
Do you have
order.
a second? Any other discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. We are going to move to the City of Oldsmar, item 11, proclamation of Purple Heart and 10-year anniversary of the City of Oldsmar, and that will be taken care of by our council member, Katie Gannon.
Thank you, folks. I mean, you can stay if you want, but I have to make a little bit of a speech here. And then you can decide how long you want to stand next to me. So, this proclamation, it is a little bit long, and that's okay, because it deserves every sentence that goes along with it, and every one of you deserve to sit here and hear every sentence of this history of this award. So let me just hold this back here. So, whereas on August 7th, 1782, then Commander-in-Chief of the Continental Army, George Washington, established the Badge of Military Merit, which was awarded to only 3 Revolutionary War soldiers for brave military service. And on February 22nd, 1932, the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth, President Hoover revived the Badge of Military Merit as the Purple Heart. And whereas the Purple Heart is specifically a combat decoration and is awarded to members of the United States Armed Forces who are wounded or are killed in combat. And whereas it is estimated that at least 1.9 million Purple Hearts have been bestowed upon the brave men and women of the United States military. And whereas the mission of the Military Order of the Purple Heart, chartered by an act of Congress, is to foster an environment of goodwill among the combat wounded veteran members and their families, promote patriotism, support legislative initiatives, and most importantly, make sure we never forget. And whereas Florida is proud to be home to a large population of active duty service members, veterans, and their families, and is committed to serving all those who have courageously defended our country. And whereas the City of Oldsmar has a large, highly decorated veteran population, including many Purple Heart recipients. And whereas this year marks the 10th anniversary of Oldsmar being named an official Purple Heart City. Whereas tomorrow, August 7th, 2024, marks the 5th anniversary of the dedication of the Purple Heart Memorial at the City of Oldsmar Veterans Memorial Park. And whereas the City of Oldsmar appreciates the sacrifices our Purple Heart recipients made in defending our freedoms and believes it is important that we acknowledge them for their courage and show them the honor and support that they have earned. Now I, Katie Gannon, on behalf of Dan Saraki, Mayor of the City of Oldsmar, do hereby proclaim August 7th, 2024 as Purple Heart Day in the City of Oldsmar and recognize the 10th anniversary of Oldsmar as the Purple Heart City. I encourage the citizens of Oldsmar to recognize the heroic service of all those who have received the Purple Heart and show their appreciation for the sacrifice our Purple Heart recipients have made in defending our freedoms. I want to thank all of you for coming tonight. I want all of you up here right now to take a picture with you. And I want some brave person to hold this and stand right in the middle. Good. I'd love the council to either stand behind or come down, make sure we're all in this picture. And I want to also acknowledge and thank you all for this beautiful pin. I won't be able to show it up on the screen, but it's a gorgeous State of Florida logo, and it says 91st National Convention, Orlando, Florida, 2024, the year of the family. Beautiful Purple Heart pin. This Purple Heart supporter pin. Thank you very much for that. So let's take a quick picture, and then I'd love to give you all the opportunity to say something if you wish.
Thank you, Mayor Saraki and council members, for bestowing this honor on the City of Oldsmar by proclaiming once again the City of Oldsmar a Purple Heart City. I would also like to thank City Manager Felicia Donnelly and the Leisure Services Department Director Chip Potts and his staff for their dedication to maintaining the Purple Heart Memorial and Veterans Park. And I want a little footnote here. I called Dan, Mayor Saraki, probably about a month ago or so.
Yeah.
And my wife and I were down there just, we go down on a regular basis just to pay homage to our son. And there were some lights out and everything, and within a couple days, the city had replaced the lights and everything. And it means a lot, because if you let that go downhill, it's not long before people just forget because it's not important to anybody. So I accept this proclamation on behalf of the Purple Heart recipients, proclaiming the City of Oldsmar a Purple Heart City for the past 10 years has been a great way of honoring the men and women who were wounded or killed during combat. I happen to be wearing this shirt today in honor of my son. I am not a Purple Heart recipient. I was given an honorary membership, and I wear this shirt proudly in honor of my boy, Corporal Frank Robert Gross, who is the only soldier who was ever killed in action from the City of Oldsmar. We need to remember that freedom is not free, and that all gave some gave all, and many are still giving. Thank you, God bless you, and God bless America.
Thank you. Thank you. As already been said, we know that freedom's not free, and it's through the continued military service of our armed services that sacrifice so much, that give us our freedom. Some don't come home. Some do with visible or invisible wounds. And the City of Oldsmar has always welcomed all the veterans, especially Purple Heart veterans, and that's why we made you a Purple Heart City. Through your continued efforts, Mayor and City Council, you've shown your appreciation and your dedication to veterans, and we thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
So I got the opportunity now.
There you go.
Okay, my name is Reynaldo. I served in the military over 30 years. I went over 15 deployments. and I see so many scenes. And I appreciate, I honored to be with him because he got the surgery and he's here, believe it or not. And it's a pleasure to see that. And to be the Purple Heart recipient of you mean a lot because there are a lot of soldiers in there that need your help, believe it or not. And I honor to have a great family. They support me with all the crazy stuff that I did to went to all the deployment, no matter it was a war, was a peace mission, was a humanitarian mission. I was always out there. And they always support me, and I love them to death. And I love my team too, because they're always in there to help you out. And they help veterans, and they show when they went to Bay Pine, that was a great show that they did, a great performance that they did, and they did have a lot of soldiers. No matter if you was Purple Heart recipient or you're not, they help, and we help. And I hope you give me, I am the manager for the VA Bay Pine for the Spanish Heritage Program, and we're gonna have the ceremony in September. If you guys give me the honor and the pressure to give me all the email, that way I can send you the shortcut and you can watch it. It's alive, okay? And Bay Pine, we try to do a lot of scenes, and we try to change a lot of scenes and help veterans, and that's what we're here for. And I love to help veterans. And thank you, and it's a pleasure and honor to be here. And I shut up, because
Whatever you want to say.
We're good. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you. Oh, this one, yeah, sure. They give that to me so I can read it without the fancy letters. Thanks, Craig.
Oh, excuse me.
Bless you.
Thank you, I need all the blessings I can get.
Mayor, I make a motion to return to the rules and consider the agenda in order.
Thank you very much. I need a second. I got a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. We are moving back to,
Number two.
I wasn't set. We are going to open up the CRA, the Community Redevelopment Agency portions of the meeting. So I'm going to call this meeting to order. We're going to start with the item 2, and this is a presentation of the revised essential terms of proposed development agreement with Devin Russell, and our city manager, Felicia Donnelly, will introduce this item.
Thank you, Mayor. Presentation of the revised essential terms of a proposed development agreement between Devin Rushnell LLC and the City of Oldsmar for city-owned property located adjacent to the public library, and further direct the city manager to host 3 public open houses. The city owns 9.446 acres of land, more or less, which includes the city library and other parcels between St. Petersburg Drive, State Street, East Arlington Avenue, located in the community redevelopment area. On October 6, 2020, the City Council authorized the city manager to enter into discussions with Devin Rushnell for the purpose of negotiating a development agreement for the city-owned property with the intent of selling 6.2 acres of the parcel for the purpose of developing the site with a mixed-use development containing 82 residential townhomes, 18 of which have a live-work component. The city's land development code, section 14.7, outlines the process for the negotiation and execution of development agreements. On July 19, 2022, the City Council approved the initial development agreement with Devin Rushnell. In December 2022, an amended site plan was reviewed by the City Council. Open houses were held in January 2023. The proposed amendments were reviewed by the Planning Board, and Development Agreement 23-01 was subsequently approved by the City Council on April 4, 2023. Since then, Devin Rushnell has completed the preliminary engineering and submitted for infrastructure permits. In January 2024, the City Council approved the assignment and assumption of contracts from Devin Rushnell to Lennar Homes. In February 2024, the City Council approved an accompanying amendment to the real estate purchase and sale agreement. This assignment ultimately was not executed. Through the assignment process, it was recognized that some amendment or revised terms and development agreement are necessary at this time. The below described site revisions were determined to constitute material changes and therefore required to comply with Section 14.7 of the Land Development Code, triggered the initial development agreement approval steps and a revised development agreement. The revisions and additions are proposed as follows. Number one, the city manager would have the authority to extend the development agreement for a period up to 180 days administratively. Number two, a new Schedule H is provided to clarify a more defined schedule. It provides sequencing of the buildings to be constructed on the site. Number three, a new site plan is presented clarifying a pavilion instead of a building and to provide for building number identification on the site plan. Number four, the homeowners association documents for the property will provide for the demolition of any partially completed building or structure on 30 days notice to the builder if the building has not had an inspection for 6 months. Devon Rush Snell LLC will post a $50,000 cash bond on behalf of the HOA at closing to cover the cost of any demolition. Number five, due to the critical importance of the project schedule and its completion, the developer shall commence annual payments of $2,430 per unit for which a certificate of occupancy has not been issued, beginning 60 months from the execution date of the revised development agreement, subject to state and federal executive order extension. This obligation will continue each year until all 82 units are completed. On each anniversary of the development agreement execution date, the remaining number of units without a certificate of occupancy will be determined and the corresponding payment amount will be calculated and rendered accordingly. Number six, include specific provisions that refer to the requirements of the Pinellas County Surety Performance Bond and Maintenance Bond requirements as specified in the Pinellas County Code of Ordinances, Section 154-264, Parent E, and to remove the existing 9C of the development agreement. All other provisions will remain as previously adopted. As this is city-owned property in the CRA, if this item is approved by City Council, the city will host 3 public open houses to present the revised site plan and essential terms to the public. City staff will create a list of the public comments received at the open houses for City Council's review and consideration. The open houses are tentatively scheduled to take place on the following dates. These are different than the ones that are in the item. They've been revised just based on space availability. The first one's going to be August the 15th at Gull Air at 10 a.m. in the clubhouse. The second one's going to be August 19th at 1 p.m. at Cypress Forest Rec Center. The third one's going to be August 20th at 3 p.m. at State Street Center. After the open houses, the City Council is going to review the amended site plan, amended development terms, and public comments from the open houses, and shall, if it determines to proceed further with the amendment of the development agreement, direct the city attorney to draft the amended development agreement for further consideration by the City Council. Staff recommends approval.
Thank you very much. I'm looking for a motion for approval.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Anybody else want to discuss this item?
I just want to make sure that we're all, the motion for approval is to direct the city manager to host 3 public open houses to present the conceptual plan and essential terms of a proposed development agreement between the City of Oldsmar and Devon Rush Snell LLC for the city-owned property located adjacent to the public library.
Full motion.
Thank you.
And I have a second on that.
You have a second on that full motion? Yes, sir.
Any other discussion?
Andrew, do you have anything?
I do not.
I don't. The 3 open houses, I think, will flesh everything out for everyone. So I'm glad there's 3 of them, as we had come up with before. So I think with any information that may not be easily readable, the way that those open houses are handled, I think will provide that information that everybody's seeking. Just wanted to say that.
All right, I'm excited about the project. Anything else?
I think, thank you, Mayor. You know, as this has progressed, I think the city has endeavored to continuously provide, if there are any changes, you know, if there is a deviation from that development agreement, I like that we are immediately going back to that process that we have promised the public will occur, which is we will have those open houses and give you multiple opportunities to ask any questions, to alleviate any concerns, to find out more about it. All of this is on the city's website. I know it can seem tedious that we have to go through this process. I'm sure it feels tedious for Mr. Rushnell, for those involved, but it is very important to me, and I know to our public, to have this transparency into the process, however, long it might be or repetitive it might seem. Any changes, we have to put them before the public. I feel that the city continues to be adequately protected, in the form of, the annual payments, per unit if a certificate of occupancy is not issued. I feel protected in the cash bond from Devon Rushnell LLC. I appreciate that we're going to build them, in sequence from the frontage on State Street. I think that's smart. That's going to be the first thing that people see done on that beautiful corner with the post office boxes as depicted here. And again, all of these pictures will be available at the open houses. I think, it's hard to understand sometimes why we have these processes. And I think people say, oh, well, government moves slowly and why do we do all this? Well, the reason is we're not trying to hurry anything forward in the dark, right? Like, Andrew actually was the one who proposed those 3 open houses that we insert that. Am I correct? I believe that was.
I mean, it's part of the public engagement, perhaps.
The public engagement, yeah, to make sure that people had that opportunity. So I know it's tough to understand. I appreciate the changes. I appreciate that the changes have come back to us so that we know it is not a building. It is a pavilion. It might seem small, but I don't want anybody out there in the public to be disappointed when they say, this is a pavilion, this is not a building. It will all come back to us eventually. But regardless, I'm fully in favor of continuing with this process. Thank you.
All right. Councilmember Knapp, anything?
No, I think it's gone on for quite some time, but it's in the spirit of wanting to do things right and that both sides are protected, as they should be, to do something of such significance for the city. So I'm looking forward to the next steps.
Councilmember Grimes, anything? All right. Well, I just want to tell the public, please come out. Please come to the open houses. Be there. Please take a look at it. We need everyone to come out and we need your comment card, whatever. Tell us what you like. Tell us what you don't like. Please come out. All right. With that, I have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you very much. I will close the Community Redevelopment Agency portion of the meeting and return back to the City Council meeting. Next item on our agenda is the consent docket, which will be read by our City Clerk, Kristen Garcia.
Mayor. Item 3, approved minutes of May 2nd, 2023, executive session meeting. Item 4, approved minutes of October 9th, 2023, executive session meeting. Item 5, approved minutes of July 16th, 2024, council meeting. Item 6, award contract 2024-007 RFQ for construction, engineering, and inspection services for the St. Petersburg Drive Complete Streets and Roundabout Project to Kissinger, Campo, and Associates Corporation. Item 7, approve appointment of Nicholas Calderon as a regular member of the Veterans Advisory Board to fill an unexpired term expiring on February 6, 2028. Item 8, approve appointment of Jessica Villafana as a regular member of the Code Enforcement Board to fill an unexpired term expiring on January 17th, 2026. Item 9, approve purchase of 2 replacement filter feed pumps at Water Reclamation Facility from Mater Electric Motors per Lee County Contract Number B240030KCW. Item 10, authorize city manager to execute engagement letters with Wells, Hauser, and Schatzel, PA, for the independent audit of the CRA and city's financial statements and to assist with the preparation of the annual comprehensive financial report as of September 30th, 2024.
Thank you very much. Does anyone wish to pull anything from the consent docket? With that, I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second?
I have a motion and a second. Any other discussion?
Thank you to Dane Piggott for his time on the Veterans Advisory Board. You recall he was the MC at this past Memorial Day. We wish he and his family well as they embark on new adventures in Tennessee. So,
There you go.
thank you to Dane.
All right, thank you. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Next item on our agenda is item 12, and that will be taken care of by our city attorney, Tom Trask.
Thank you, Mayor. This is item number 12, public hearing and second reading of ordinance 2024-07. I'll read that ordinance by title only. Ordinance 2024-07, an ordinance of the City of Oldsmar, Florida, amending subsections 14.6.1, 14.6.2, and 14.6.6 of Section 14.6, alcoholic beverages, of the Land Development Code of the City of Oldsmar to provide for updated references to Florida statutes. Amending Section 14.6.3 of Section 14.6 to address minimum distance requirements for certain mixed-use zoning districts. Amending Sections 14.6.2.1, 14.6.2.2, and 14.6.3.2 to include ROR, Residential Office Retail District, into the list of permitted districts, providing for conflict, providing for severability, providing for codification, and providing for an effective date of this ordinance. That is the second and final reading of ordinance 2024-07 by title only.
Thank you. This is an open public hearing. I am going to open the public hearing. Is there any member of the public wishing to be heard on this item? Come on up.
Jerry Peruzzi, 101 State Street, Upper Tampa Bay Chamber of Commerce. And Chamber of Commerce certainly supports this amendment. And I know at our last board meeting, the Board of Directors discussed it, and they also support it.
Thank you. Anybody else would like to speak on this item? Come on up.
Jason Sanders, 101 South Bayview Boulevard. Same thing, I've spoke before, but I'm a proponent for this. I approve kind of this ordinance being changed, and I think it'll just provide for a much more diverse area in those zones, so I'm all for it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else would like to speak on this item? With that, I will close the public hearing. I need a motion for approval.
So moved?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any other discussion on this item? Roll call, please.
Vice Mayor Graber?
Yes.
Councilmember Grimes?
Yes.
Councilmember Knapp?
Yes.
Councilmember Gannon?
Yes.
Mayor Sharkey?
Yes.
Ordinance 2024-07 is adopted with 5 votes for and 0 against.
Item number 13 is the public hearing and second reading of ordinance 2024-11. I'll read that ordinance by title only. Ordinance 2024-11, an ordinance of the City of Oldsmar, Florida, amending the Town Center Development Code of the City of Oldsmar, amending Section 2.1 General to include the definition of educational facility, amending Section 3.2.1 Prohibited Land Uses and Structures to remove primary or secondary schools from the list of prohibited uses within the Oldsmar Town Center, amending Section 3.7.3 Conditional Uses to allow for educational facilities in the Town Center Commercial Residential District, providing for conflict, providing for severability, providing for codification, providing for an effective date. This ordinance, that was the second and final reading of ordinance 2024-11 by title only.
Thank you. This is a public hearing. I'm going to open the public hearing. Is there anybody that would like to speak on this item? Come on up. Oh, we got two. Jason, you can come. Yeah.
Jason Sanders, 101 South Bayview Boulevard. For the ordinance, again, changing the ordinance here, I think that this is exactly the diversity we're talking about. I think it'll bring a lot of vibrancy to those areas. So again, I'm for it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Liz Martin, 3119 Phoenix Avenue, very soggy Phoenix Avenue right now.
Sure.
I just wanted to express my appreciation to everyone who's touched this project, this ordinance change, for decent support, and everyone in the planning committee. This is incredibly important to me personally and to a lot of kids, and especially those that are in the military community. I find it absolutely ironic that it's, we're talking about Purple Day and all this because my husband just got his orders. He's retiring. He will be home the end of this month after 30 years of service. We'll finally be back together as a family for the first time in a very long time. And our we intended to stay here, we intended to plant here when we got to Florida. It took till like October before we had our first winter and went, okay, yeah, we're done, we're staying here. And we've moved a lot. With that being said, it's very difficult on the family. It is one of the things that's very, it puts a lot of stress on us. And the school that we're trying to put into place, it's a funny way of putting something really like you would see or what you would understand as school. We've created a 21st century version of what we think schools should actually look like for secondary education. We were looking for full access to all of Oldsmar. Super important, because we have the risks that we found with our military kids who have the highest rate of death also is extending to our first responders. We know what those things are, we know how to identify them, and we know how to support them. Our Navigate, thank you, is designed specifically for being able to give that level of support to those children. It's not a special school, it extends to everyone. But if you are a family with a first responder, or have first responders, or you're a family of first responders and or military, there's a special designation that we call Purple Star Schools. And we would only be the second Purple Star school in the entire county of Pinellas. The other one's way down the south end of St. Pete, and it's just high school. We here in Oldsmar will be the very first middle school. And 13 and 14-year-olds have the highest rate of suicide. So thank you, everyone. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Liz.
Anybody else would like to speak on this item? Okay, with that, I'm going to close the public hearing. I'm looking for a motion for approval.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any other discussion on this item?
Just want to thank the applicant for action over awareness.
Moving forward. Roll call, please.
Vice Mayor Graber,
Yes.
Councilmember Grimes,
Yes.
Councilmember Knapp,
Yes.
Councilmember Gannon,
Yes.
Mayor Shiraki.
Yes.
Ordinance 2024-11 is adopted with 5 votes for and 0 against.
Item 14, Tom?
This is a public hearing for a conditional use request, CU 24-01, for the National University of Health Sciences South Campus location at 3984 through 3986 Tampa Road. This is a quasi-judicial hearing, so I want to go over the procedures that we're going to use tonight. This is a quasi-judicial proceeding where the city council members act in a quasi-judicial rather than a legislative capacity. At this hearing, it is not the council's function to make law, but rather to apply law that has already been established. In this hearing, the city council is required by law to make findings of fact based upon the evidence presented at the hearing and apply those findings of fact to previously established criteria contained in the Code of Ordinances in order to make a legal decision regarding the application before it. The city council may only consider evidence at this hearing that the law considers competent, substantial, and relevant to the issues. If the competent, substantial, and relevant evidence at this hearing demonstrates that the applicant has met the criteria established in the Code of Ordinances, then the city council is required by law to find in favor of the applicant. By the same token, if the competent, substantial, and relevant evidence at the hearing demonstrates that the applicant has failed to meet the criteria established in the Code of Ordinances, then the city council is required by law to find against the applicant. I would ask any of the council members whether or not they need to disclose any ex parte communications or conflicts of interest.
No, sir.
Okay, thank you. At this point, I'm going to swear in anyone that's going to speak on this agenda item. So if you can stand up, raise your right hand, and be sworn under oath. You swear the testimony you're about to give is going to be the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And we'll have City go ahead and proceed.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Good evening, Matt Jackson, Principal Planner, City of Oldsmar Planning and Redevelopment Department. The item before you tonight is conditional use approval for the National University of Health Sciences with application number CU 24-01 at the subject property 3984-3986 Tampa Road. This is a conditional use approval request for the National University of Health Sciences to establish its Florida campus at the subject property. The property is located within the Town Center Commercial residential zoning district, and educational facilities are permitted within the TCCR district by a conditional use application, subject to the standards outlined in section 3.7.3 of the Town Center Code. A little background, the National University of Health Sciences was established in 1906 with a main campus in Lombard, Illinois. It is a private, not-for-profit institution specializing in integrative medicine and is accredited by the Higher Learning Commission. In 2009, the school developed a Florida campus in Seminole, Florida, and now seeks to relocate here to Oldsmar. Currently, the Florida site has 20 full-time faculty members and serves 137 doctoral degree students with an average student age of 30 years. The request for this application was reviewed against the standards outlined in section 3.7.3 of the Town Center Code. The first criteria for standard is that the requested use has frontage and access to a roadway with a functional classification of minor arterial or higher. The existing building is located within the existing Town Center Plaza and has direct access through the plaza's cross-access to Tampa Road and is also accessible via St. Petersburg Drive, Lee Street, and State Street. Number two, the use is compatible with the desired growth and land use patterns reflected in the community redevelopment plan and the comprehensive plan. The existing building is located within the community development district category, which permits public and semi-public uses, and the comprehensive plan states the primary uses shall be residential, commercial, office, and public, semi-public as enumerated by the approved redevelopment plan. Standard 3, there's adequate provision for traffic movement and access, vehicular and pedestrian, both internal to the use and external to the redevelopment area served by the use. The existing building, located on the corner lot with main access from State Street and Lee Street, features surface parking and a structured parking garage with an entrance off the side street. The vehicular area has cross access to the plaza, ensuring adequate pedestrian and vehicular movement, and provides direct access to St. Petersburg Drive and Tampa Road. This slide here, you can also see a better visual that there is also the pedestrian access along the rights-of-way and also internal to the site. Standard 4, there's reasonable need for such use within the redevelopment area. The proposed graduate school can significantly benefit the area. It has the potential to stimulate the local economy, create jobs, and enhance the district's appeal, leading to business clustering. Such clustering, where related businesses are located nearby, can promote a collaborative environment that drives economic growth and innovation. This concentration can attract investment, increase customer traffic, and encourage shared resources within the CRA. Standard number 5, the proposed use will not adversely affect the health, safety, and welfare of the public and will not be detrimental to the use or development of adjacent properties or of the community redevelopment area. The proposed use was going to occupy an existing building, which does feature structured parking and provides easy access to the major roads. Utilizing existing infrastructure will ensure minimal disruption and smooth integration into the community. Furthermore, the applicant provided a traffic comparison memorandum. The transition from the current Baycare office building to the proposed educational facility will actually result in an overall reduction in traffic trips. A recommendation is that based upon the above discussion and the review against conditions outlined in section 3.7.3 of the Town Center Code, staff recommends approval of the conditional use application request for the National University of Health Sciences to establish its Florida campus for doctoral degree programs at the subject property located in the Town Center Commercial Residential Zoning District. This concludes my presentation. I'm available for questions as well as the applicant.
Do we have any questions for staff?
Just
Councilmember Gannon?
Just one briefly. I saw that submitted with this documentation is a certificate from the actual owner of the building approving the request we have before us here tonight. Is is this a conditional use for the entire building, or is this a conditional use for this applicant for the portion of the building that they are leasing?
For this applicant for the building.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? All right, Tom?
So you want your staff report to be received into evidence?
Mr. Trask, thank you. At this time, I would like to ask that the staff report be accepted into the record.
Okay, thank you. And does the applicant have any cross-examination of city staff? No. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Jackson. And now, is the applicant would like to step forward to make any presentation that the applicant would like to make? And if you could introduce yourselves, please, and provide an address.
Good evening, Council. Joe Stiffel, National University of Health Sciences, 200 East Roosevelt Road, Lombard, Illinois.
Ron Menching, National University of Health Sciences, 200 East Roosevelt Road, Lombard, Illinois.
Council, I'd just like to thank you for your engagement. We look forward to engaging the community more and hopefully being welcome into the city of Oldsmar. And then available for any questions that you might have.
Wonderful. Do we have any questions for the applicant? Yes, Councilmember Gannon.
Thank you, Mayor. I saw that you're moving the Seminole campus to Oldsmar. Is it for a particular practice of this integrative medicine, or just all types of doctoral students?
We'll be moving the campus that we currently have to the city of Oldsmar and vacating our current space in Pinellas County, or Pinellas Park, rather.
So do they focus on a specific type of medicine?
The program that we currently have is chiropractic medicine.
Okay.
We've been in existence since 1906, kind of world famous. We have a lot of other programs in Illinois, but right
Yeah, I
now in
noticed.
Florida, it's just chiropractic medicine.
Okay. So this isn't somewhere where somebody can go to receive chiropractic medicine, only to be educated?
To be educated at this point, yes.
And people in Oldsmar could conceivably apply to be educated at this institution?
Absolutely, and as a matter of fact, it's a very interesting night for us as well. Other people mentioned in watching the Purple Heart group come up. One of our beloved deans is a Purple Heart recipient of The Walking Dead.
Oh, wow.
We are very open to veterans. We have many veterans programs, both with institution and federally. So that is a big deal to us, as well as community engagement. Community engagement is a really big thing for our students.
Right.
Like I said, they're graduate students, they're adult graduate students, and they are very engaged in all the communities that we're in. We also have interns currently right now at Bay Pines. And the reason why there are interns from the institution at Bay Pines is because 15 years ago we approached Bay Pines and said, we see that there's a need for this in your community. And they welcomed that with open arms. And as a matter of fact, 2 members of staff of Bay Pines are there now because of that effort.
I also saw that you have existing staff, but does this conditional use at this location provide a potential opportunity for additional jobs for residents of Oldsmar?
Absolutely. Educational institutions tend to bring in a lot of professionals and educated folks. So the ability to provide those opportunities for members of the community is absolutely fundamental for what we're looking for. And that's one of the reasons why we're looking on Oldsmar.
Okay, last question, I promise.
No, good, keep them coming. That's what we're here for.
Does your philosophy as an educational institution permit apprenticeships or sort of opportunities for young people who are interested in your profession, either as to be in the chiropractic field or to be educators to participate at all?
Our institution is an evidence-based, science-based institution. That comes to our foundation since 1906. So what we do is we encourage all fields of science and health sciences and education throughout what we do. So a lot of our students will engage in different programs. For instance, we have programs we do right now at Vincent House. We do community engagement and education in different types of healthcare education, but also our students go out and participate in different healthcare related activities and community support activities. So to answer your question, yes.
Okay, I thought of one more question.
Yes, go ahead.
I saw
Keep 'em
the
coming.
average age of your students is 30. Do
It
they
is.
predominantly reside in the Seminole area and they'll be commuting here, or are they everywhere?
What normally happens is the majority of our students are located in a foci around the campus.
Okay.
So, if the council sees fit to allow the conditional use and we move in, the initial students will probably commute. Some of them will probably move closer, as well as faculty and that type of thing. But we matriculate students 3 times a year, and we graduate 3 times a year. So the community will see students who will be around the program. The program is 5 academic years long. So you'll see an overturn of students and their families in the community, every 5 or so years.
Oh, I
So-
hope they like to have lunch at the Casbah Cafe.
Well, I tell you what, that is a kind of a big plus for the community, and one of the reasons we looked at Oldsmar, the community,
Oh,
because
really?
of the support for the students. And as a matter of fact, that was a big part of our board questioning.
Yeah.
Where will the students be living? What's there to support the students outside of their education and their families, because a lot of them will have families.
Plus, the
Thank
average
you.
age of a council member is 30, so just lines right.
That's
up.
right, and
There
there's
you go.
future council members to be sure.
Councilman Knapp, you have any questions?
But just first a comment, thank you for your interest in the city. I think there's quite a bit of energy building about kind of an educational district in our city, so that's really exciting. If this conditional use is approved tonight, what is your anticipated timeline on being able to relocate and start operating in the city?
We'd like to, and this is Mr. Ron Menching, he's my business vice president, and also.
January 2026 is when we
Okay.
anticipate we'd have our first class matriculate down here.
Yeah.
Very good. That's all I had, Mayor. Thank you.
Anybody else on this side?
No, I thought it was explained really well, and just the reasons behind it. And I didn't know it was a 5-year program, but the circulation of the students, but getting more people just exposed to the city, just like I'm going up to Oldsmar now, not realizing what was here. Councilmember Gannon's right, the Casbah is right there. Other things to do, though, within walking distance, and so to see all the pedestrian things. I'm good.
All right, thank you, Vice Mayor. I just want to say, welcome to Oldsmar. I am really looking forward to seeing your facilities, and I think you're going to be a treasure for the people and the students that come to your university, and I just want to say thank you, and you're welcome. Welcome to Oldsmar.
Thank you, Mayor. Appreciate it. Thank you, council members. Thank you.
All right, now we're going to open up to the public. Is there anybody in the public that would like to speak on this item? All right, then I will close the public hearing. I'm looking for a motion for approval.
So moved.
I got a motion from Councilmember Knapp.
Oh, second.
And I got a second from Vice Mayor Graber, all right? Any other discussion on this item? Roll call, please.
Vice Mayor Graber,
Yes.
Councilmember Grimes,
Yes.
Councilmember Knapp,
Yes.
Councilmember Gannon,
Yes.
Mayor Siraki.
Yes.
CU 2401 is approved with 5 votes for and 0 against.
Thank you very much. Item 15.
This is a public hearing and second reading of ordinance 2024-12. I'll read that ordinance by title only. Ordinance 2024-12, an ordinance amending section 2-2 of Article 1 of Chapter 2 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Oldsmar, Florida, to increase the salary paid to the mayor and council members, providing for conflict, providing for severability, providing for codification, and providing for an effective date of this ordinance. This is the second and final reading of ordinance 2024-12 by title only. There have been no changes since the first reading.
Thank you. This is a public hearing. I'm going to open. Is there anybody in the public that would wish to speak on this item? Come on up.
David Llewellyn, 212 Bengal Circle. I'm sorry, Katie, I disagree with you. These
That's okay.
people, all of you, are worth every penny being proposed and more. And I only wish that we were able to give you the added income or compensation for the tremendous amount of work that you do. and I wish to thank you all for your service and putting up with all of us. Thank you.
Thank you, David.
All right. Anybody else in the public? Come on up.
Well, Tom O'Shea, 208 Lake Charles Court. I'm going to agree with him. I agree with this. You guys do a lot of work, and I think you should get some compensation for the amount of effort you guys put in. So, and I think it's what you guys said, 16 years since the last pay raise, and
Yep.
every now and then you guys get a little boost, I think.
Thank you very much for coming in. Anybody else like to speak to the council? No? All right. I will close the public hearing. I am looking for a motion for approval.
So moved?
Second?
I have a motion and a second. Is there any other discussion on this item? We discussed it quite a bit. Anybody else like to say anything? Roll
Just-
call, please.
well,
Oh, I'm
forgive me,
sorry.
Mayor. I just-
Vice Mayor, go ahead.
No, we have discussed it quite a bit. I just want to say thank you to all of you to go through the process and speak about it. We're here now, though, so we can proceed.
Thank you, Vice Mayor.
Yep.
Oh, yes, Councilmember Knapp.
One other comment. I think everything that's been said before probably is unchanged from last time. I read an interesting article just in the last few days, and obviously with some economic conditions that took place on Monday that I'm sure many folks are aware of, an interesting article about what they call the economy lag. So that's just also something now that gives me pause with wanting to support an increase is we don't know what the next several months, 12, 18 months may hold. So it just kind of gives me additional discomfort with supporting an increase. But the chips will fall as they may.
That's fine. Thank you for that. Appreciate it. Any other discussion? All right, roll call, please.
Vice Mayor Graber,
Yes.
Councilmember Grimes,
Yes.
Councilmember Knapp,
No.
Councilmember Gannon,
No.
Mayor Siraki.
Yes.
Ordinance 2024-12 is adopted with 3 votes for and 2 against.
Thank you. Item 16.
This is a public hearing for the second reading of ordinance 2024-14. I'll read that ordinance by title only. Ordinance 2024-14, an ordinance of the City of Oldsmar, Florida, amending subparagraph 3.8.2.4 of subsection 3.8.2, Establishment and Procedure of Section 3.8, Board of Adjustment, of Article 3, Administration and Enforcement of the Land Development Code of the City of Oldsmar to revise the attendance requirements of the Board of Adjustment, providing for conflict, providing for severability, providing for codification, and providing for an effective date of this ordinance. That was a reading of ordinance 2024-14 by title only. It's the second final reading, and there have been no changes since the first reading.
Thank you, Tom. This is a open public hearing. Is there any member of the public wishing to be heard on this item? With that, I will close the public hearing. I will entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second?
I have a motion and a second. Is there any other discussion on this item? Roll call, please.
Vice Mayor Graber,
Yes.
Councilmember Grimes,
Yes.
Councilmember Knapp,
Yes.
Councilmember Gannon,
Yes.
Mayor Siraki.
Yes.
Ordinance 2024-14 is adopted with 5 votes for and 0 against.
Item 17.
Thank you. This is a public hearing, second reading of ordinance 2024-15. I'll read that ordinance by title only. Ordinance 2024-15, an ordinance of the City of Oldsmar, Florida, amending subparagraph 3.9.2.4 of subsection 3.9.2, Establishment and Procedure of Section 3.9, City Planning Board of Article 3, Administration and Enforcement of the Land Development Code of the City of Oldsmar to revise the attendance requirements of the Planning Board, providing for conflict, providing for severability, providing for codification, and providing for an effective date of this ordinance. That was the second final reading of ordinance 2024-15 by title only, and there have been no changes since the first reading.
Thank you. This is a public hearing. I will open the public hearing. Does anybody wish to speak on this item? With that, I will close the public hearing. I will entertain a motion.
So moved?
Second.
Motion by Vice Mayor, second by Councilmember Knapp. Any other discussion?
Just to say thank you to our city clerk and her office, and especially working with Tom and his office to handle getting the attendance requirements situated. I know we asked Kristen to do it, jumped right on it. To see it done now, that I think is excellent. So thank you very much. And to all the members of our boards, thank you again for them, for their time volunteering. That's all I had, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I agree with him. Any other comments for the city clerk? All right, roll call, please.
Vice Mayor Graber,
Yes.
Councilmember Grimes,
Yes.
Councilmember Knapp,
Yes.
Councilmember Gannon,
Yes.
Mayor Sharaki.
Yes.
Ordinance 2024-15 is adopted with 5 votes for and 0 against.
All right, Tom, great job.
Thank you, that's all I have.
All right, next item is City Manager Felicia Donnelly will introduce items 18 to 22.
All right, thank you, Mayor. Item number 18 is to consider the commercial lease of Suite 1 of 101 State Street West to the Upper Tampa Bay Chamber of Commerce. On September 7th, 2021, the City Council approved a 3-year lease agreement with the Upper Tampa Bay Chamber of Commerce for the current location at 101 State Street West. The current lease expires on September 1st, 2024. This is a renewal agreement for another 3-year term effective September 1st, 2024, and expires on August 31st, 2027. The monthly lease payment would be $700 per month, plus sales tax with annual CPI adjustments on the anniversary date. The current lease payment is $678. The Upper Tampa Bay Chamber of Commerce agrees with the terms of the lease and has signed the document. I think it's important to note that the new lease that is proposed also includes a termination clause that is very favorable to the city. And so it gives the city the ability with a 90-day notice 90 days after the city provides a written notice to the tenant of the landlord's election to terminate this lease. So it includes a termination clause that wasn't included previously. For any reason, the city could give a 90-day notice. Staff recommends approval. And,
Thank you.
I'm sorry, Mayor, I just wanted to clarify too, during the open forum comment, this does not include the Historical Society. This is exactly the footprint that is taken up by the chamber presently.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, I need a motion to approve the commercial lease of Suite 1 of 101 State Street West to the Upper Tampa Bay Chamber of Commerce Incorporated.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Do we have any other discussion on this item? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Item 19.
Item number 19 is approve Amendment 2 to 2019-002 RFP agreement with the Gehring Group for benefit consulting services. On May 7th, 2019, the council approved contract 2019-002 with the Gehring Group to provide benefit consulting services. On November 15th, 2022, council approved the contract amendment 1, which changed the payment method from a commission-based percentage of medical insurance premiums to a flat annual fee of $100,000. This amount includes access to Bentech, an online employee benefit open enrollment platform. Amendment 2 will extend the existing contract, which currently expires September 30th, 2024, allowing for up to 5 additional 1-year terms. The annual fees will remain unchanged for the duration of the agreement. Staff recommends approval.
Thank you. I'm looking for a motion for approval.
So moved.
Motion, have a second?
He can have it.
Okay, Vice Mayor gets it. It was given up by Councilmember Gannon.
Got it.
He can have it.
And a motion, a second, any other discussion from anybody? All right, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes, thank you. Item 20, I'm sorry, 19. No, 20.
Item number 20 is approve renewal of the medical and dental benefits with Cigna Health, vision benefits with iMed, employee assistance program with Cigna Behavioral Health, and life insurance and long-term disability with the standard for fiscal year 24-25. In June 2024, the city's benefit consultant, the Gehring Group, presented the city with the employee insurance benefits renewal. The renewal is reflecting that in the past year, for the most part, the city's experienced favorable claims and low monthly loss ratios. For 24-25, Cigna is presenting a 4% renewal to maintain the same schedule of benefits for medical insurance coverage. Dental insurance will remain with Cigna with a rate guarantee through 9/30/2025, and vision insurance will remain with iMed with a rate guarantee also through 9/30/2026. The Employee Assistance Program through Cigna Behavioral Health has a 0% renewal for 1 year. The standard will continue to offer group basic life insurance with AD&D coverage and group long-term disability with a 0% renewal for 1 year. It is also desired to maintain competitive in the surrounding market by continuing to contribute to the employee cost of dependent medical insurance. In fiscal year 22-23, the city began subsidizing the cost of employee-dependent health coverage for the first time, which is the practice of many of our surrounding cities. Additionally, the 2023 Compensation, Classification, and Benefits Study indicated that, quote unquote, it is recommended that the city continue to make incremental progress to dependent care contributions to eliminate any competitive advantage in the marketplace. As such, the proposed plan, which is outlined in the attached executive summary, will lower the employee's contribution toward dependent medical coverage by an additional 5% for 24-25. The city plans to continue providing a city-funded $1,000 HRA contribution to employees enrolled in the medical plan, which can either offset the $1,000 deductible or go toward any other out-of-pocket medical expenses such as copays, dental work, or glasses. Overall, the 4% medical insurance increase, along with the city's additional contribution to independent coverage, will lead to a 5.1% increase to employer costs of medical insurance coverage. Staff recommends approval. Sean Fleming, Senior Benefits Consultant from the Gehring Group, is here should you have any questions.
Thank you. Do we have any questions for Sean? No? All right, I think we're good. I need a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Item 21.
Item 21 is approve the contract of the Pinellas County Sheriff's Office in the amount of $2,258,052 for 24-25 law enforcement services. Each year, the City Council approves an annual contract with Pinellas County Sheriff's Office to provide the city with police protection, traffic enforcement, community policing services, and school crossing guards. This contract represents an increase of 7.14% over the prior year due to the rising cost of law enforcement services. Appropriations in this contract are included in the proposed annual budget in the Law Enforcement Division of the General Fund. Staff recommends approval.
All right. Approval for the Pinellas County Sheriff's Office.
Motion to approve?
All right, second.
Councilmember Gann got the second. Sorry.
Yeah, I missed it.
You were close.
Leave it over there.
Hey,
Any other discussion on this item?
money well spent.
I agree.
Absolutely.
Pinellas County does a great job. The Sheriff's Department does a wonderful job. We're blessed to have them. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Item 22.
Item number 22 is approve the special event application, fee waiver request, and use of the city logo for the Oldsmar Friends of the Arts production of Frozen Jr. to be held on October 12th. The Oldsmar Friends of the Art was formed as a 501c3 nonprofit organization with the goal of enhancing the performing arts in Oldsmar. As a nonprofit, the organization provides support by hosting various fundraisers over the course of the year and utilizes those funds to pay for production costs such as the rental of sound and lighting equipment and scripts for the shows performed by the city's Opal Theater program. On October 12th, the Oldsmar Friends of the Arts will present the musical performance of Frozen Jr. on the Elizabeth Skinner Amphitheater stage at R. Eads Park. Free presentation will culminate months of practicing leading up to 2 on-stage rehearsals and the final performance. It's anticipated that the performance will bring close to 600 people to the park. Item requests waiver of fees in the amount of $710. Consistent with our special event guide, Oldsmar Friends of the Art requests that the city waive the fees associated with the event. All other external costs will be the event organizer's responsibility as outlined in the application. Oldsmar Friends of the Art will recognize the city as a sponsor at the appropriate level and may use the city logo to recognize such sponsorship. Copy of the application is attached for your review. Staff recommends approval.
I need a motion for Frozen Jr. How about a second?
Second.
Go.
I got the vice mayor pounding the second.
Into the unknown.
All right. Looking
Not
forward to
Frozen
seeing
2,
that.
it's Frozen Jr. That's the
that's right.
second, that's Frozen 2.
I-
Into the Unknown is
I
Frozen
know
2.
the movies. I've just, you took Let It Go. How easy. Love is an open door. I mean, I
Love
don't
is an
know.
open door.
In the summer?
Huh?
In the summer?
In the summer?
In the
Right.
summer.
Yeah.
I obviously don't have.
Sending nothing to contribute.
Saying. Just saying.
Of course I know Into the Unknown is Frozen too.
Love it. All right, Sudo, Frozen Junior's looking good.
Be singing along.
We got a motion, we got a second, we got laughter. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Frozen Junior's a go. Congratulations.
Green light, green light.
All right. Next item on our agenda is City Clerk Kristen Garcia. You have anything for us today?
I have no items, Mayor. Thank you.
Nothing?
Good report.
Nothing.
All right, well, good job on everything you guys do. Next item is city council comments, and we are going to start out with someone very special who's been here for a couple months, doing a great job as the council member, and Sandy Grimes, you have the floor.
Thank you. I just wanted to take a moment to thank all of you. These past 8 months have been a privilege, an honor to serve with all of you and to serve the community as well. It's bittersweet because I do enjoy this, but I feel that the election that's going to happen will bring a quality candidate up here, and you'll welcome them just like you welcomed me, so thank you. Official meeting, yeah.
Yes.
All right. Thank you very
Still
much.
getting over my-
Councilmember Katie Gannon.
Thank you, Mayor. I wanted to congratulate our Director of Human Resources, whom apparently has a new surname. I will continue to call her Michelle Kutch until I am informed of said event. What an incredible
I think you've been
achievement.
informed.
It was a wedding. I need to see photos.
She didn't get the memo.
I didn't get the memo, and I wasn't invited.
It was
Anyway.
very secretive.
I like how she came up here and like very casually just dropped that massive bomb, even though the memo says Michelle Kutch. She's just like, oh yeah, that's not my name anymore. Anyway, well, congratulations to her for that. But in addition, you know, this Cigna 2023 Healthy Workforce Designation Award, you know, it is a beautiful piece of glass, but also it signifies so much hard work. I mean, everything that you have done and that. All the hard work toward, you know, the wellness programming, even changing, you know, the employee handbook multiple times over. You know, I really appreciated the presentation tonight. I know we didn't spend a whole lot of time talking about it, but, you know, the vision benefits, the health benefits, the dependent care, so important, so close to my heart. I love that the city continues to offset the premium costs for the healthcare. I love that the city is committed to maintaining that competitiveness with other cities so that we offer benefits to our employees that make them feel like they're supported physically, emotionally healthy. And, you know, I want them to want to work here, and I want them to feel like they're getting, you know, their salary's worth of benefits. It matters a lot to me at my workplace, and I know it matters to them. So thank you, Michelle, and to the Garing Group as well for sticking with us all night here tonight. It's really important. So congratulations, and thank you again for working hard to make sure our benefits stay competitive. And I like the 4%. We can compress that a little bit more maybe next year. But anyway, couple small things. Happy birthday, Felicia, who managed to kind of skirt under and in between the meetings without the official happy birthday acknowledgement. So happy birthday to our city manager, Felicia Donnelly. I wanted to say I'm looking forward to the operational budget meeting next Tuesday. So we'll see y'all like 3 times in a week and a half, which is my favorite thing. And we'll have our special meeting on August 17th. So we also have an election coming up August 20th. You know, if you haven't returned your mail ballot, you can bring it with you. You can drop it in the mail still. And you can also vote in person. I know it's kind of old fashioned, but a lot of people like to do that. So I hope everybody gets out to vote. There's one right there. Like I said, old fashioned, but I am excited to see how the election goes. I thank the candidates who are both here tonight, by the way. And thank them for extremely professional and well-run races and informative content about themselves and their families and a clear commitment to this community. I really appreciate that. So I don't know if you guys noticed, we had a massive tropical storm that came and sat on us for a couple of hours this week. You know, I'll never say it's just a tropical storm again. I'll tell you that. It doesn't really matter if there's a category that comes with it, if there is a hurricane or a tropical storm. You know, and we see that kind of weather coming our way, whether it's wind or water or both, we have seen the devastation that it can cause. There was flooding in different areas of the city. There were power lines down. There were a couple of trees that obstructed roadways, lots of tree shrapnel in folks' yards. I've been trying to share the city's official guidance and information. I thank the communication staff for putting out all of that information as soon as it's available so that we can, you know, send it out on social media and make folks aware of everything from, you know, when is the debris coming to pick up, you know, when is coastal coming back, you know, when is it safe to go outside, you know, tips on how to stay safe. It's just really helpful to be able to just hit that share button. And from what I understand, the number of incidents were limited and responded to extremely quickly and in a really organized fashion with a sort of triaging and a high level of communication from our EOC staff. So thank you to everyone involved in that. Of course, our city manager, our Jason Schwabe, chief, he's not here tonight. He might be sleeping. You should get in on that. But you know, I really appreciated that we came through that mostly unscathed. Again, I know we had a couple of lift stations where we've got pumps helping them out, but that's, you know, considering the damage that we saw in other areas, I was very pleased with that. Last thing, hey, school starts on Monday, Monday the 12th. I know everybody doesn't like that Oldsmar Elementary lines up the parking and car circle on St. Pete Drive. It is hard to get used to. There will be a whole slew of kindergartners and VPK people who are getting used to the new traffic patterns. It takes a couple of weeks. Please, please be patient. Don't drive on the shoulder around folks. Don't go in the opposite lane to pass people who are waiting to go into car line. It's very dangerous. I myself was actually sideswiped in car lane. Not a really great plan to try to then take off because you just dropped off your kid and everybody knows exactly who you are. Coach Powers actually chased them down the time that happened. But, you know, kids are walking to school. We've got bikers. We've got, you know, a whole lot of people who are new and a lot of kids who might not know where to go. And honestly, if you get pulled over, the ticket is substantial as it should be. I'm looking at you back there, sir. So be on the lookout for folks, and Forest Lakes, I'm sure, has some similar headaches at the beginning of the year, or maybe your car line's better than our car line. You can let me know.
I am not touching that one, Councilman.
But certainly, you know, safety, safety for everyone. You know, I wanted to mention to our consistently involved resident, Mr. Llewellyn, although we do happen to disagree on the salary, I just wanted to make sure that everybody understands that my vote no is not an evaluation of the value, your value up here. You are all worth hundreds of thousands of dollars and much, much more. It's not about that. I hope you guys don't take it that way, and I hope you don't either, Mr. Llewellyn. Thank you for being here. Lastly, you know, I hear sometimes that people are afraid to make code enforcement complaints. And that's okay. Sometimes people don't want their name out there. They don't want their neighbor to get mad at them. People used to prefer to remain anonymous, but I am happy to bring some issues forward. I know there's some overgrown vegetation along the walk to school route to Oldsmar Elementary along St. Pete Drive between like Buckingham and the barbecue place. There's a couple other photos that I saw that I will pass along to city staff that I promised to bring forward tonight. But hey, anybody out there, if you're nervous to make a code enforcement complaint, you can call me. That's cool. I'll be the bad guy. I have no problems, doing a drive-by. I do my code drive where I kind of look around. I was happy to see at 516 Arlington, they're doing a fantastic job of bringing that up to date. Okay, I think I've said enough. I just had a lot to share tonight. I appreciate everybody being here.
All right.
Appreciate you, Sandy. Love you.
Back at you.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Councilmember Knapp.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a few things. I wanted to also thank city staff for all their efforts of cleaning up after the storm passed, probably starting Monday morning, I would presume, and not too much Sunday night. But, yeah, we were, my parents' house was one of the houses that had a tree down across the street and glancing blow off the backside of my nephew's vehicle. So still waiting to see the full extent of that. But thank you so much for your tireless efforts to get the streets back operational and start working your way down the list of getting everything back to a normal state. Also, you know, back to school, looking forward to a year or two in the Knapp household for taking one kid to school right now. We'll have that for one more year before we have both of them over at Oldsmar Elementary and
You get to join
facing,
the big car line now.
Yeah, the big car.
Oh, yeah.
Is VPK is in the big car line? No, I think it's still the front.
No, you have one more year in the
Yep,
front. The baby parking line. Baby car line.
Again, another
Far
thing.
easier. But yeah, just please pay attention out there. I know it's unfortunate timing with people are going off to work at the same time, you know, parents are trying to get their kids to school. So please be mindful those first few weeks are important so everybody kind of gets back into the groove of things. It was definitely a shock for us last year with pretty much upending our normal routine of getting out and out the door in the morning for work. I will just touch on real quick a couple other comments that were made from the public earlier today. Ms. Settle's not here anymore, but I don't want to get into a whole lot of details as far as the CRA goes. There are definitely pros and cons to extension, expansion, as well as letting it sunset. What I will say is that I personally don't see where I just feel like we want to sell the land to get rid of it and get it off of our plate. And I suspect that would be the same for much of the rest of the council. Further discussion, I'm sure, will be warranted and happen at the right point in time when we do have to address the CRA in its current state and what considerations there are for the future. So I hope that's at least somewhat satisfactory, but I know there's more to come that needs to be addressed on that. A couple other things. Really excited about what took place here tonight with a couple of things we voted on for downtown. I think that really does show signs of we're starting to get some traction and excitement for the future. I mean, was it at least three different things that we touched on tonight. So I think we'll have more of those things in the future to consider that we'll be voting on for either the city-owned land or these other types of unique requests that will come up that make a lot of sense for our city. I think more people are starting to become aware, especially the business community, of the opportunity that's here. So I'm really looking forward to all the other interested parties that are out there starting to kick the tires and poke around and think about Oldsmar. Want to wish both the candidates best of luck in 2 weeks' time. Basically 3 weeks from now, one of you two will be sitting up here, so we look forward to welcoming you aboard and operating it as part of the team. And then outgoing words, I know, Sandy, it's not your last meeting, but it's your last regularly scheduled council meeting. So thank you for your time up here. I don't know if we'll see you again. I mean,
I'm betting.
You never know.
I'm betting, yes.
We would be happy to have you back if you were so inclined as an appointee. You really filled the shoes appropriately, and we're so thankful for your commitment to the city twice over. And then one final parting words, happy birthday to my younger brother, Alex, who's probably still out to dinner enjoying a kid-free dinner.
Nice.
So go, Alex, enjoy, and I will video call you soon with the kids. That's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you. Great job. Vice Mayor.
Thank you. That was quite a bit, and a lot of repetitive items on my list. Again, to staff, thank you. You always do a great job getting us prepared. Notifying the citizens, this is what's happening, take it seriously, do these things. This is where you can get all the information. And to Councilmember Gannon's point, it just wouldn't stop. It was just like, come on. And then just to see it kind of swirl up and then get to the northeast part of the state and then into Georgia and the Carolinas, who aren't necessarily used to getting that, especially as large as the storm was. My best to all of them. School does start back on Monday. Teachers have already gone back,
Yes.
including my wife, who will be in the pre-K3 class at Forest Lakes. So my daughter's at camp. That means my son is home with me,
Ooh,
just me,
fun.
for 5 days of work. And when he asks for Sprite and gummy bears, I don't mind. But when the answer is not at 9 in the morning, it's like, can you just go do something? You know, I don't want to load him up on sugar that fast. But when you guys hear the deafening silence from my house on Monday, know that I won't have to go to the car line because my wife is driving the children to school where she works. So I will be
out so bad.
at home.
You've got an out.
I have an out, but safety concerns abound. There's a lot of kids who walk. I know downtown is much different, but in the surrounding neighborhoods from Forest Lakes, I know Valerie's here. I think you tried to walk your son. I believe your husband told me, and he got so tired. I think he tried to lay down like on the side of the road once, and was just like, "Can you please just drive me?" But they tried, and so it's a little bit longer of a walk just because of the way the houses are spaced. But be on the lookout. We all are. But anyway, happy school is back. Thank you so much. Getting to sit next to you, I didn't realize, I mean, I knew it was 8 months, but it did not seem like that long. And then when I was writing out my comments for tonight, I was like, wait, you're done? I'm like, wait, we've got those two. I'm like, no, wait, we're done. What? Okay. But to Valerie and to Sean, like I've said a few times now, it's a different kind of election date, only because the end of August is just a little bit different. Seeing what you've been able to do to get the word out, that you're trying your best to try to get to council. Making sure you're showing up to different things, trying to talk to as many people who don't know you as possible. It's all very important. It's all noticed. And so just to let you know, but best of luck to both of you. Looking forward to that day. And actually, Mr. Llewellyn, I had something for you as well. And I had it written down, and you mentioned the BMX track. So February 7th to the 9th is the state series, the BMX state series. So I have a colleague at my other job, and she lives in Martin County. I've spoken about her before. Her son races BMX. So does her husband, but her son is going to be in the state series. He just got promoted to the next level. Forgive me, I don't want to butcher it, but I don't know what it is. However, she said, I need recommendations for hotels in Oldsmar, and I need recommendations for restaurants in Oldsmar. So part of the draw of the BMX track is getting that tourist presence here. And she said, this is perfect, thank you. And it was to the hotels right there, lined up perfectly with their schedule, 2-3 miles from the track. But just to kind of take it from that perspective, I know we went over the $3 million taxes and all the rest of it, but while you might not see, hey, I got $20 in my pocket because of this, that money comes back, and it comes back in very good amounts. And just wanted to give just kind of that perspective of it, where just out of the blue, she messaged me at work and said, hey, you're the vice mayor or something, you're going to be at this event, and oh, by the way, I need recommendations for hotels. And she was just making fun of me, essentially, but that's where you kind of see that benefit of it. Other than that, again, thank you, Sandy. That's all I had. Mayor, happy back to school, everybody.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I only have a couple things. First, I want to wish you both of you luck. You've been great candidates for the council seat, and I look forward to having one of you guys up here. And keep up the good work. You only have a couple weeks left, and you'll be up here. But great job. The Cigna Health Plan, congratulations on that silver award, Michelle. I got to tell you, I love the eye. I get my glasses with it. I use it. My wife and I use it. It's wonderful, and great job. Thank you so much. The storm, I was in Key West, and I was not going to fly home until Monday. And on Friday morning, that storm started to pulverize Key West. I mean, the bands were just coming in. So my wife and I immediately tried to get a flight out. And thank God, Allegiant, we got a flight out. We were able to get out Friday night. We got back. But I'm so glad we left. And I was eating lobster on your birthday, so happy birthday. That lobster was delicious, by the way.
Quite the celebration.
Did you enjoy it, Felicia? Dan did.
Yeah. And I want to thank the city staff for a great job they did for the storm. We lost power, and that's never happened, and I was just very I had some residents reach out to me, but city staff, you know, it's tough. You have to work at night. The storm was at night, and they came out, and, you know, they're doing their job, and it gets frustrating, but it's really important. And the city staff did a great job, even with picking up the trees, you know, taking care of the streets. The streets were clear. I drove around. So thank you, city staff, for that. The great job. I want to mention that the code enforcement thing, what Katie mentioned too, it's an issue. People don't, you know, call me or they'll email me, and I'll give them the information for code enforcement, and they stop. You know, and we have to do that. You have to register your name. You have to fill out the form, and just do it. That's the only way our city's going to get better. We have to get better. So please don't be afraid. You want to say something, Dave? I'll let you.
I talked to Mr.
Come on up. Come on up. Come out to the microphone.
I spoke with Mr. Trask about the issue of code enforcement. And I did say that 15 or 20 years ago when I first came through here, that Oldsmar, the primary streets were beautifully maintained and everything else. And now we have trucks parking on the grass, people not cutting the grass, the drainage ditches looking like places that I visited 50 years ago. And it's just really poor. So why not contact code enforcement? So I took a look on the website. So I look at code enforcement, and I don't know, I think code enforcement's had one thing to do in the last year. I mean, I don't know what they do. And I know they have an official who's supposed to check out the town. That being said, I have a neighbor, or a neighbor of a neighbor, but who I would definitely launch a complaint against. Do you have any neighbors that have numerous weapons?
Well, Dave,
Do
I just wanted you to come up and
do
just...
you have any neighbors that have questionable mental or emotional state? Well, you got to think about that when you're saying, oh, well, we're just going to give out the information under FOI. You're putting us at a risk. And it's really great that you can say, well, we did everything legally, and gee, he was a really good guy. Who cares? You're not protecting us. And that's really part of what your job is. And I applaud Katie for saying, call me, I'll be the bad guy.
Sure.
And I don't know about the Code Enforcement Board. I don't know that I've ever seen one of their trucks unless it says Leisure Service or Public Works. But I've never seen any vehicle from Code Enforcement.
Well, I had a thought. You bring up an interesting point, Mr. Llewellyn. There was a very informative code enforcement meeting that we had recently where Greg Silliman, our code enforcement officer, gave an outline, basically, presentation of the philosophy of code enforcement that we have here in Oldsmar, because I think a lot of people misunderstand that they think Greg should be out just looking around, but we're actually complaint-based. I'm wondering if we could put a link to that meeting, or maybe even truncate that video into like a short video, so on the website people can click and see about code enforcement in Oldsmar, just as like a learning tool, so people can understand that, you know, we're going for compliance as opposed to penalizing people. So if he can have a conversation with somebody that says, hey, can you mow the grass? He'll do that and come back and see if they've done it before he starts handing out tickets, because that's our code enforcement philosophy.
The Code Enforcement Department, whatever,
Yeah.
used to put out signs on the lawn that this property is going to be restored by the city at the homeowner's expense. And I saw it specifically on Shore Drive East, over near Kilsyth, where we had maybe 2 houses built in the last 5 years. But the whole corner looked like a potential
Yeah.
dumping ground.
Greg
And-
talks about that in that video, the process
yeah.
of everything. That would be a
But are
great-
you allowed to park all your vehicles all over the lawn? I mean, it looks like a used car lot.
I think we should post that video to give some more
And-
context.
And I don't live on the good side of Shore Drive. I don't even live on Shore Drive, but
Me neither.
when you go by and you go on the water side and it's beautiful, and you go on the land side and it looks like Julian's used car lot, I don't think the people on the water side are too happy, but maybe they're afraid that some of the people have handguns also.
Thank you, David.
Thank you, David.
All right, the last item I had was the CRA. I talked to Felicia about that today. She is still working on that, and she's going to update the council when she's ready. And I think if it comes to that point, maybe we might have a workshop someday.
Yeah, so just to add some clarification, the council did approve in the last budget a CRA feasibility study. So GAI Consulting Group is working on a CRA feasibility study. The current CRA does not expire until 2026.
Thank you. Thank you for explaining that. And then the last thing I have is I was able to work with you twice up here on city council. And I really want to say thank you. I think you did a great job. I'm going to be very upfront and blunt. You have a lot of common sense when you make decisions up here, and I want to thank you for that. And I really do appreciate that. I just wanted to relay that to you. Thank you for your service. All right, that's it. Anybody else want to see anything? All right, the next item on our agenda is the tentative agenda. Does anybody wish to pull anything from the tentative agenda or add? All right, I need a motion for approval.
So moved.
I have a motion in a second. Councilmember Gannon, second, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. Any other discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Meeting adjourned.